Welcome to Intrigue at the Midnight Gala, a tale where elegance meets deception, and every shadow conceals a secret. Written by Sattendra Nath, this story will take you on a journey through a world of opulence, mystery, and unexpected twists. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The first chapter of Intrigue at the Midnight Gala introduces readers to Elena, a woman who is both the center and the lens through which we experience the unfolding mystery. Elena is in her late 20s, living alone in a small, quaint town where nothing much ever happens. She has always been a bit of an outsider, someone who finds solace in solitude and art, rather than in the company of others. This detachment from the world around her is not due to a lack of social skills or opportunities, but rather a deep-seated feeling that she is meant for something more, a feeling that has persisted since childhood. Elena's life is one of quiet routines. She spends her days painting in her small studio, a space filled with canvases, brushes, and the faint smell of turpentine. Her paintings, often inspired by dreams and emotions, are windows into the world she imagines, places far removed from the everyday mundanity she experiences. Despite her passion for art, there is an undercurrent of dissatisfaction in her life. Her work, while fulfilling in its way, feels like a placeholder for something she can't quite name, the deeper purpose, a calling she has yet to discover. This sense of yearning, of waiting for something unknown, is the emotional backdrop against which the story begins. On an ordinary morning, Elena is sorting through her mail when she notices an envelope that immediately captures her attention. Unlike the bills and advertisements that make up the rest of the pile, this envelope is made of thick, luxurious parchment, its edges slightly frayed as if it had traveled a long way to reach her. Its edges slightly frayed as if it had traveled a long way to reach her. The paper is a soft ivory, and the envelope is sealed with a deep crimson wax seal embossed with an intricate crest she doesn't recognize. The invitation inside is a work of art in itself. The paper is smooth and heavy in her hands, and as she unfolds it, a faint scent of jasmine wafts up, a delicate, almost otherworldly fragrance that evokes memories of summer nights and moonlit gardens. The handwriting on the invitation is elegant, the kind of script that speaks of old money and tradition. Every letter is perfectly formed, flowing across the page with a grace that seems almost unreal. The message is brief but powerful, each word carrying a weight that makes her pulse quicken. You are cordially invited to the Midnight Gala, to be held at the Grand Arclay Manor. Your presence is requested at midnight. Transportation will be provided. Dress formally. No additional guests. The simplicity of the message contrasts sharply with the grandeur of the invitation. There is no indication of who sent it, no explanation of what the gala is about or why she, of all people, has been invited. The absence of these details creates a sense of unease, a feeling that something is being deliberately withheld. Yet, there is also a thrill in the unknown, a pull that she cannot resist. 05. Elena's first reaction is a mix of curiosity and suspicion. She has never heard of the Grand Arclay Manor, and the idea of attending a gala at midnight, hosted by an anonymous benefactor, feels like something out of a Gothic novel. Her logical mind warns her that this could be a prank or, worse, a trap. But as she reads and rereads the invitation, her apprehension begins to give way to a sense of excitement. The promise of an adventure, of stepping into a world far removed from her own, is too alluring to ignore. Throughout the day, Elena's thoughts are consumed by the invitation. She tries to focus on her painting, but her concentration is shattered. Each time she picks up her brush, she finds herself drifting back to the envelope, to the mystery it represents. The questions swirl in her Mind, who could have sent this? Why me? What will happen at the gala? Her unease is compounded by the lack of anyone she can turn to for advice. Her social circle is small, limited to a few acquaintances and distant relatives who wouldn't understand her predicament. She considers dismissing the invitation altogether, tearing it up and forgetting about it. But every time she thinks of doing so, she feels a pang of regret, as if she would be turning her back on something important. The invitation, with its cryptic message and luxurious design, becomes a symbol of everything Elena has been missing in her life: the excitement, the mystery, the possibility of something beyond the ordinary. It is as if the invitation is speaking directly to her, offering her a chance to step out of the shadows of her own life and into the light of something extraordinary. By the time evening falls, Elena has made her decision. The allure of the unknown is too strong to resist. She rummages through her wardrobe, searching for something suitable to wear. Her clothes are modest, reflecting her simple lifestyle, but she finally settles on a black dress, one that is elegant yet understated. As she slips into the dress, she feels a transformation begin to take place. The woman staring back at her from the mirror is not the same Elena who spent the day in quiet contemplation. This Elena is someone who is ready to face whatever the night might bring. As the clock ticks closer to midnight, Elena's anticipation reaches a fever pitch. She paces around her small apartment, her heart racing as she waits for the promised transportation. The minutes stretch into eternity, each one bringing her closer to an adventure that feels both thrilling and terrifying. She wonders what kind of people will be at the gala, what kind of secrets they might hold, and what role she is meant to play in this unfolding mystery. Finally, at exactly 11:30 p.m., there is a soft knock on her door. She opens it to find a sleek black limousine waiting for her at the curb. The driver, a tall man dressed in a crisp black suit, greets her with a polite nod. He does not speak, but his presence is both reassuring and unsettling. Elena hesitates for only a moment before stepping into the car, her heart pounding in her chest. As the limousine glides through the quiet streets of her town, Elena feels a sense of detachment from her old life, as if she is leaving behind everything she has ever known. The town soon gives way to the dark, winding roads of the countryside, the lights of civilization fading into the distance. The car travels deeper into the night, through forests that seem to close in around them, their gnarled branches casting eerie shadows on the road. Elena's mind races as she tries to make sense of what is happening. Every mile brings her closer to the unknown, and with it, a growing sense of anticipation. The invitation, now resting in her lap, feels like a talisman, a key to a world she has never dared to imagine. After what feels like an eternity, the car finally slows down and turns onto a long, gravel driveway. Through the darkness, Elena catches her first glimpse of the Grand Arclay Manor. The mansion is massive, its Gothic architecture looming against the night sky. Tall spires rise into the air, and the stone walls are adorned with intricate carvings that seem to shift and change in the flickering light. The manor is both beautiful and terrifying, a place that seems to exist outside of time, untouched by the modern world. As the car comes to a stop, the driver opens the door for her, and Elena steps out onto the gravel. The air is cool and crisp, filled with the scent of damp earth and autumn leaves. She stands there for a moment, taking in the sight of the manor, her breath catching in her throat. This is the place where her adventure begins, where the mystery of the invitation will finally be revealed. With a deep breath, Elena gathers her courage and walks towards the towering front doors. They swing open. Before her, as if by some unseen force, revealing a grand entrance hall bathed in golden light. The interior is as opulent as the exterior, filled with rich tapestries, ornate furniture, and crystal chandeliers. Every detail speaks of wealth and power, of a history steeped in secrets. As she steps inside, the doors close behind her with a soft thud, sealing her fate for the night. The atmosphere inside the manor is charged with an almost electric tension, as if the very air is alive with anticipation. Elena feels a shiver run down her spine, but she steels herself. Whatever awaits her here, she is ready to face it. And so, the night begins.